Good morning, Space Cadets. Welcome to Moon Farm and welcome to the first episode of the Farm Chore Podcast. Here's the concept. I've got to do chores every day. And frankly, I like talking about farming. So, why not combine the two? I'm going to take you along with me while I do my chores and just talk to you. First, I got to run into the greenhouse and I got to turn on the water heater. So, may get a little bit loud. Everything's looking good in here today. It is a little chilly. The weather outside is 50 degrees, 51, and rainy, unfortunately. We do have a good bit of rain coming through. Water temperature is at 59 degrees. That's a good temperature. Trying to get it up, but unfortunately it's so cold. Here I say it's so cold while it's 50 degrees outside. It's early in the morning, the sun is not out yet, so the greenhouse is only 53. Hopefully that'll warm up just a little bit. The water heater works much more efficiently when there's more heat. So, yeah, here's what you can expect from Farm Chores Podcast. Every day that I publish this podcast, I will give you just a little bit of an update on the farm, and then I will go ahead and give you a topic for the day. I don't know exactly what that topic's going to be each time. I figure they'll range from farm-related, market gardening, bit of the business side probably. Today, because this is coming out right at the beginning of the year, we're going to talk about the SWOT Analysis, SWOT, of Moon Farm, and kind of what that looks like going into 2022, and what I think this season's going to look like. So, to start off, we'll start with a little bit of farm update. I started up the incubator for the quail yesterday. Finally had it warmed up, so I'm just checking the temperature here, and it looks like we're doing pretty good. Might be just a hair low. So we're going to go ahead and raise that up just a hair. There we go. And those are looking pretty good. I've got a mouse problem on the farm right now that I'm dealing with. Pretty significant one, frankly. Everywhere's got mice in it. I've got mice in my shed. I've got mice in my cooler, in my greenhouse, in my camper. I'm going to have to solve that here pretty soon, and I will. In 1 week, I've got 2 new residents coming to the farm. Their names are Lexi and Lemmy, and they are going to help me out by crushing the mouse population. Kind of like how this mousetrap crushed a mouse. Got one. Unfortunately, mice are not something I can have running around the farm. It's good and rainy today, so you'll probably hear lots of squishy footsteps. You'll probably enjoy all the sounds of the farm. That's kind of the concept of doing a podcast while doing chores, is so that you can hear all the noises of the farm and listen to dogs bark and birds chirp and all the fun stuff that goes with farming. Now I am headed off to Michigan to visit family today, and I'm staying the night up there. So because of that, I'm actually doing bonus chores today. Doing lots of chores. Everybody gets double food. Everybody except Murphy, the guardian dog, because he would just eat it all. So I've got someone coming to take care of him. But everybody else, they can handle it. Other farm updates to share with you. It's January and still 50 degrees, so that's kind of wild. The low tunnels seem to be doing okay. The lettuce actually germinated. The spinach, not so much, but I'm wondering if it was just a little too cold and We're just waiting on it. It's kind of slow. We'll see. Hi, Murphy. Hi, buddy. Murphy's over there barking at me. He's a good boy. He's still young. He's, not too much over a year old. So he's got a lot of puppy energy. He would love to play. Can't really let him do too much of that though, because he wants to play with the birds and walk all over them. The ducks are playing in the pond. I built a pond not too long ago because I had to rent an excavator. So I thought, while I've got it out here, I might as well dig a pond. Two purposes. One, the ducks love it. It's for them. But also this last summer, when it was very hot for like a full week, the creek that I pull my water from to water everything, including my birds, actually dried up, like completely. There was nothing left. The creek bottom got hard as a rock. It was not good. It was kind of scary, frankly. I was a little concerned with what was going to happen next if we didn't get some rain. Now, we did get some rain and we were okay, but I wanted to have a backup contingency built in, and that contingency is basically just having a pond, reserve some amount of water in case it should be needed in the future. So that's about it for farm updates. Not a whole lot going on. Very soon we're going to be gearing up for spring, and that's when things will kind of start picking up. Hopefully, at least. It's going to be a wild year. Speaking of this year, that means it's time to do our SWOT analysis. If you've never done one, SWOT, it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So strengths and weaknesses are really reflective. How did I do this year? Or in such and such period, or right now. Opportunities and threats are more kind of looking forward. What kind of things could really help you? What kind of things could really set you back? What kind of things do you need to look out for? It's helpful to do these every once in a while, just so you stay on top of what's going on. Ooh, I am really low on chicken feed. Well, I guess they'll have to get the other feed. So let's start with the easy one. We'll start with strengths. In the last year, what kind of things has Moon Farm, or myself particularly, what have we been strong about? The first one, I think, got to be getting all of this crap done. I mean, holy crap, it's been a year. And I don't mean to pat myself on the back too much, but I do need to pat myself on the back a little bit. In February of last year, when I bought this property, it was completely empty. It had nothing on it but small trees and brush, mostly hawthorns and useless stuff. It was a very unhealthy ecosystem. And in just a few months, we cleared that land. We turned it into a functioning farmstead. Some things didn't go right, obviously. Not exactly as I planned. But we did it. We built a greenhouse basically by hand. I had a little bit of heavy equipment help, just a little. Without this, without the skid steer that I borrowed from a friend, we probably wouldn't have been able to build the greenhouse. So that was a major help. But other than that, we pretty much did it by hand. Just a few occasional things that we needed a machine for, like clearing the land and whatnot, but it was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of help along the way. I want to thank my friends for that. So that's definitely a strength, that we were able to get this done. Everything's kind of in place now and functioning. And then the friends I have, they're a big strength, and were very helpful in this whole process. I'll give myself an extra back pat though, because you know who was at every single work day? Me. I joke a little bit because it's my job. Of course I'm going to be there. I'm getting paid to be, well, not really, but you know what I mean. I am really proud of what we built though. We've got, our flock of 60 birds. We were able to raise 100 meat birds over the course of the last 6 months. We were able to process all those meat birds. I currently have 450 feet of market garden rows, 30-inch beds, 450 feet total length. We'll talk a little bit more about what I want to do with that if I remember into the next year. So let's talk about weaknesses. This is the one that I probably could go on all day about, because I'm probably a little more critical than I need to be of myself. The first big weakness is misunderstanding what my customers want. I grew some stuff that I thought, this is going to be great. Nobody else is really growing this, so I'm going to have the market cornered. It's going to be great. And then slowly you find out, market after market, that the reason nobody grows it is because nobody's buying it. And so it really doesn't matter how good you are at growing it. A big example of that, I grew towards the beginning of the year a lot of mustard. I mean, I was taking 30, 40 bunches a week and taking those to 4 different farmers markets. And I think when hold on, this rooster needs to be put in his place. Excuse me, sir. Yeah, that's right, back off. Yeah, that's right. He thinks he's big and tough. Yeah. He's a little too big for his britches. So anyway, I took 30 to 40 bunches to the farmer's market every week. Started off, oh, hi, Murphy. Started off trying to sell them for $3 a bunch. Was not really able to do that. There's your food, bud. Good morning. Oh, stay down, please. Hey, stay down. You big puppy energy. You good boy. Nobody really bought my mustard though, and that was really frustrating. I think all year I sold, 10 of them all year at 4 different farmers markets for the entire summer season. And that was really hard because I had all this space that was dedicated to growing mustard, had all this time dedicated to washing and bunching and all that stuff that goes into taking mustard to the market. It really kept terribly, so if I didn't get rid of it one week, it wasn't going to make it to the next. It was one of those things where I thought, there's got to be some kind of contingency of Southerners that live around here, and they would probably be happy to find mustard greens because nobody's growing them, Same with like turnip greens and okra. But I found that those really didn't sell well, and that was rough. That was real rough. Thinking like, oh yeah, I've got this great idea. So there's a weakness: misunderstanding my customers and not bringing the products that they were looking for. To step back a little bit strength-wise, I did a great job with salad mix. That's like my one thing. Oh, good morning to you too. I did a pretty good job with keeping salad mix stocked. It didn't go as planned. It wasn't coming out of my aquaponics system yet, but I did a pretty darn good job at... yes, hello. Did a pretty good job at keeping that going. If the only issue I had with it was that my meat birds ended up being free range because I couldn't contain them because they walked right through the electric poultry netting. Yeah, that was weak. Try again. And the meat birds ended up eating the seedlings of an entire crop of salad mix. And that set me back significantly. And I couldn't really replant it because they were just gonna do it again. They didn't care. They're big old dummy heads. It happens though. Like, I'm not gonna complain too much. In this next year, I'll be growing all my salad mix out of the aquaponics system in the greenhouse, and I won't have to worry about that. So other weaknesses, I definitely need to work on my time management. I feel like I just don't have enough time to get things done that I want to get done. For example, one way that I'm fighting this right now with this podcast and then with the YouTube channel is to set aside a specific day of the week just for office work. So I'll do chores that day, but I'm not going to be planting and harvesting and doing projects. I'm going to use that as the office day. The office day will help me get caught up on things like editing, uploading, all of that fun stuff. And then it'll also give me an opportunity to work on some more business aspects like marketing, billing if necessary. Whew, excuse me. All right, now it's time to water. Whew, hold on. Hi guys. It's time to water the quails. These guys are so cute. I'm proud of the enclosure that I built for them. They were in cages, just like everybody else raises quail. And here I am at my farm with everybody free range and all natural. And I'm just looking at the quail in cages going, ooh, there has to be a better way. This is not, hi! This is not the way to raise quail. And this looks terrible. So what I ended up doing is when winter came and it was time to cull down my flock a little bit for the winter, which is kind of funny now that I'm hatching eggs again. When that came, I went through and sorted everybody. I got rid of 60 birds, roughly, and sent 60 birds to the freezer. And then the rest of them, I moved them into a tractor-style coop. So they are on the ground, behaving like quail like to behave. They have their area that they can run around. They've got their sand bath. They've got a nice big feeder. They seem so much more happier. And they look better too. Their feathers are really growing in. They're behaving like quail. And that's awesome. Absolutely love that. Other weaknesses, I need to get better at finding new customers. I have been doing really good at the farmer's market, but I have not been doing good at finding restaurant clients. And a lot of that is me making excuses. The greenhouse has set me back really far. I was expecting to be harvesting from it, and I still am kind of getting it along. That's another weakness, but we won't go into that. And so I was kind of like, oh, I'll approach restaurants after the greenhouse is up, after the greenhouse is running, after I fix all this stuff. And it just keeps moving the goalpost back and back and back and back and back. And I need to find restaurant clients. I thought to myself, like, okay, so if I can't sell what I wanted to sell because everything's not, keeping up with me the way I wanted, what could I sell instead? And that's when I started building shelves. And we're going to try to go a whole lot harder on microgreens into 2021. So that leads us to our next section, opportunities. Let's start with that one that I just mentioned. Microgreens are probably a huge opportunity this year. I sort of neglected them because I was having trouble selling them at the farmer's market. And that being my only place to sell from, it didn't make sense to grow a lot of stuff that wouldn't sell at the farmer's market. And frankly, during the summer, I was really overwhelmed, didn't have time. It's one thing to run a farm, it's another thing to build a farm while also running one and going to farmers markets 4 days a week. That's what really got me. But this year, I'm gonna try to grow a lot more microgreens. I need to get those out to restaurants. I have space that I could grow, oh goodness, like 72 trays of microgreens every week, which is far more than I ever imagined that I would be growing each week. Oh, someone's laying an egg. Hey, excuse me? Do you have any eggs for me? Hello? Hi, chickens. Welcome to the chicken coop. Everybody is on a nest. Could I, Hey! Don't peck me, you butt. That's not very nice. Excuse me? Oh, can I have these? Thank you. Thanks. Couple eggs. Why do I have 4 chickens sitting on nests today? Why? Are you just waiting to lay, or... Okay, you're done. Excuse me, thank you. You're just sitting there taking a rest, getting comfortable? Okay. You're fine, you're fine. Don't peck me. Excuse me. Oh! Really? Really? Tell me about it. But tell me about it off the nest. All right, tell everybody how you feel. Yeah. Uh-huh. Thank you. Okay, now that you're off the nest, I'll grab these eggs here. And then you can go right back to what you're doing. Yeah, have fun. So microgreens are a huge opportunity. The next opportunity is going to be my CSA. I have this really cool idea for a home delivery service, CSA kind of crossover. And frankly, I think it's pretty original. I haven't seen models like it before, so innovation. That's a huge opportunity to me because I wanted to launch it this year, but it was really, the whole thing is based around being able to produce a steady, consistent amount of certain items all year round. And they all come from the greenhouse, which took longer than expected to build and, has its problems that I've been working through. So now going into the next year, things are starting to work. Things are growing kind of the way they should. Everything seems to be straightening out as expected. And so because of that, going into 2021, very soon I should be able to launch my CSA. And that's what I've based almost my entire farm budget off of, is being able to move this CSA. It's the kind of thing where I've calculated, okay, I need 100 people every week just getting the basic subscription, and all the farm bills can be paid, all of them, and have a little bit extra to, say, pay a part-time employee or something. 100 people is pretty doable. It's a lot. It is a lot, but what's my background in? It's not farming, it's sales. My background is in sales and marketing. So I'm confident I can make that happen. And yeah, I've told people, if it comes down to it, I will go door to door with a cooler that has a subscription kit in it. And I'll ask people, hey, you want to support local food? Sign up for this kit. I've got your first order right here. You sign up now, I will hand it to you. Look at how great this lettuce looks. Look at how tasty these microgreens are. This could go into your kitchen right now. That's kind of my thought. Like, if it comes down to it, I think I could find 100 people that way. I think it would take me a couple weeks. I would be spending hours walking up and down the streets. I don't want to do that, but I will, and I can. And that's why I'm confident about that. Eventually, I'd like to get off of farmers markets entirely and just do the CSA deliveries. It'll be a steadier income. I won't have to worry about, oh, it's raining this week. We had bad weather 3 weekends in a row, which crushed sales, wasting food. You know, I'll know exactly how much I need. It's a better model entirely. So that's a huge opportunity for me, and I'm really looking forward to it. Another opportunity that I really haven't explored very much is my quail. I have a lot of quail in the freezer. I'm getting a lot of quail eggs. And so I need to find a way to expand this. I think the easiest way for me to do that is going to be to approach a pet store. That's on my list. I need to find a pet store who wants to carry quail eggs as snake food, because they make really good reptile feed. Along with that, I've started growing pet grass, and hopefully that'll just help me get in the door, offer pet grass to people. I did plant some catnip plants too that are in the germination station now. So pet stores are an opportunity for this coming year, and something I'm going to try. Another opportunity, I still don't have a proper roadside stand. It was my goal originally to have a roadside stand as fast as possible, and you know, a couple $100 a week was what I was hoping to get out of it. Not very much, like equivalent to a small farmer's market each week. Unfortunately, things got too busy and I was not able to get that roadside stand up, along with just barely having enough to sell because of the way I accidentally kind of structured everything. So this next year I need to get that roadside stand up. I do have electricity now, which is one of the things that I was waiting on. I waited a long time for electricity just to be able to run a refrigerator in order to keep everything cold and fresh. But I do have a lot of neighbors who have stopped by and said, oh, I can't wait to buy from you. When are you going to start selling? Do you have anything right now? So I think there's a pretty big opportunity in my roadside stand too. All right, let's talk about threats. This is my least favorite part. The biggest threat, and let's get to this one first, is the amount of debt the farm is in. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't regret taking out loans to build this farm. It would not have happened without taking out a loan. That's just, you know, or an investor that I owe. It just was not going to happen any other way. So, and I want to qualify making sure that people understand I'm not in a generational amount of debt. I didn't borrow $1 million for land and another $1 million for a tractor and then another $1 million for a combine. Frankly, in comparison to a lot of other farmers, my debts are pretty darn low. They are doable. However, they're still a lot of money. And this farm did not generate as much money as expected over the last year because we were so set back. We were expecting that by August, my greenhouse was going to be producing 1,000 heads of lettuce a week. And here we are now, January, almost 6 months later, have not harvested lettuce from it. It takes a while to get going, and I super misunderestimated what it would take. And even then, when I thought it was going, it wasn't quite, and needed some interventions that took time. So I am happy to say that we're in a good place now. Things are looking great, and I'm hoping within the next month I'll be pulling out lettuce from the system. But we did get set back significantly from that. And so going into 2021, the biggest threat is just figuring out how to avoid bankruptcy and get those debts paid down. My goal would be to have them paid off by the end of the year. I don't know if that's possible, but I think it makes sense because I'm currently making do with the bare minimum income. And so if I could just keep doing that for another year and basically just dump all the farm proceeds right back into the farm, I think that's the best course of action. That's the biggest threat. I can't really think of too many others. I guess in business you could always say competition is a bit of a threat. I don't know. I think I have a pretty good product, and I'm not really worried about competing in terms of like who has a better product. I know I have a good product, and I know that I can keep my customers happy. So that's not really a threat to me. I'm not going to be at risk of getting shut down or anything because of competition. I am, I guess, potentially threatened just by learning lessons, I guess. It's not learning the lessons that's threatening me, but it's lessons that I need to learn, and learning those are huge setbacks. So, for example, in other aquaponic systems I've ran, I didn't have any issue with potassium in the water. I had plenty of potassium. I was not worried about it. In this new system, the water is different, the fish feed is different, and the system's much bigger. And so we ended up potassium deficient. And that's one of the reasons the greenhouse was not producing like it should, because we ended up potassium deficient, which plants need potassium to produce roots, and without roots they can't take up nutrients, and then it becomes self-defeating because they can't take up potassium, and so they can't grow roots. So I corrected that. I did add potassium, but then, in a way we lost 3 weeks that I was sitting there going, why are the plants not growing? And it's those kind of lessons that will continue to threaten me, just because that's the way it works. Through experience, I'm going to learn them. We're going to get there. We're going to correct them. We're going to make a difference. But, oops, you got to learn them. That's the way it is. So that's the other one that I got to watch out for. So there you go. There's my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, my SWOT analysis of Moon Farm going into 2022. I'm really excited to have you here, and thanks so much for listening to Farm Chores with me, giving me the opportunity to talk about something I love, which is farming. I hope you'll join me again subscribing to this podcast, but if you do want to learn more about the farm or you want to see it visually, there's a couple places you can go. My YouTube channel, my Instagram, or my TikTok. If you want to see the nitty-gritty behind the scenes, YouTube is where you go. If you want to see some fun, silly stuff, TikTok's where you go. And if you just want to see the polished beauty and none of the dirty side, Instagram is where you should head over to. All of those links are available top right of my website, moonfarm.us. All the social links up in the top right. If you're in Northeast Ohio, you can also order my products for delivery right now. Just go to my website, top right corner. It says order now. Go ahead, head over there, pick up some eggs, pick up some microgreens, and I really look forward to hearing how you like it. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next episode of Farm Chores.